Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough of Ace Attorney Investigations. I hope that you guys are enjoying this playthrough. Let's continue from where we left off here. Let's find out exactly what's going on this plane. March 12, 2:52 p.m. Flight G390, lower deck, cargo hold. Wow, so this is the cargo hold, huh? It's so big! This plane is a special model. It has both a super large cargo hold and ultra luxurious first class seating. So this is the real scene of the murder. There is certainly a high probability of that, which is why we are here, correct? Okay, let's get investigating, sir. Begin investigating. Okay. Okay, You arrived at the scene of the crime before Detective Gumshoe, correct? And you then immediately began to direct the evidence. Began to direct the investigation. It seems to me that you were already here at this airport for something besides this murder. Yes, I was. Why at the airport? I've been following a very large and involved, governmental level international crime. But it's much too large for one person to take on alone. So it's decided that I should form a joint investigation with Interpol. Francesca came to this airport as Interpol liaison. So, what is Interpol? Interpol is a real-life police agency. It's basically, think of international police. It's basically like a police agency made up of law enforcement officers from around the world that basically cooperate to bring down criminal organizations that are abroad in multiple different countries. And whenever Interpol go after somebody, it's usually something big. So it's something big. It's involving, like, spanning multiple countries. It's some kind of big criminal group, usually, that they're going after. Also, in the GTA series, there's actually a parody off of Interpol. It's called Globopol. That's the name of the police. We haven't actually seen them in the games, but they have been mentioned before. Interpol is involved. It's a top-secret operation, so I really can't tell you any more than I already have. Okay, so she's here as part of an Interpol investigation. I can already see where the luggage came from. It came from here, this area. There's one missing. Holy suitcase, Mr. Edgeworth! It's like an all-you-can-use suitcase fair. These must be all the leftover ones they couldn't sell. The ones that the company is planning to dispose of after this flight is over. This paint job is really cool, don't you think? It practically screams, hard to see. Oh, why not purchase one then? I'm sure it will bring you much happiness. You think so? Then maybe I will. Let's see here. $1,200? I think I'll pass. And Miss De Niro wonders why they don't sell. You need 2 jobs to buy one. Although, it definitely looks like one is missing. Yeah. What is this brittle substance I'm stepping on? It's a bunch of glass fragments. What are these glass shards from? Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew. This sure brings back memories of when I worked as a part-time mover, sir. By the look in his eyes, he's waiting for me to ask about the rest of the story. But no matter how he pours on the puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. What's this? This briefcase here. What is this? Hey, what's with the suitcase, pal? It's what the victim checked in, sir. So this is the suitcase belonged to Mr. Hicks. I don't think he'd mind if we take a closer look. There's nothing out of the ordinary in here, sir. Wait, a file? And there's a photo of Miss Von Karma in it, sir. What? It looks like a profile on Francisca. Why did Mr. Hicks have documents on Francisca in his possession? Why would Mr. Hicks have a file on her? Highly flammable cargo. All sorts of boxes have piled up here. This one says flammable, and this one it says pharmaceuticals. This one says for exorcism use only. What? Just what kind of operation is this airline running? Oh, I just love pushing the buttons on elevators and crosswalk signals. Here, you should give it a try, sir. Go on, push it. The elevator is currently stopped on the first floor, Detective. It can't move. Oh yeah, I guess nothing would happen if you pushed it now. Well, nothing would happen normally anyway without the special keycard. Both the door to the attendance room and the elevator control panels require a keycard, which makes it impossible for a passenger to come down here. Let's talk to Francisca again. Didn't I get a piece? Hang on a second. Didn't I get a piece of evidence before that bought in the in-flight shop? Just as Miss Tenero said, the timestamp says she bought the suitcase at 5:40 a.m. Who charges $1,1200 for a, suitcase? My god. That's a ripoff. That's a scam right there. This was apparently designed by Miss Tenero herself. The design has a certain Jane Sai koi about it. Yes, perhaps this is the best way to put it. At a $1,200 price tag, not exactly priced by someone of a conscience, I'd say. Okay. Why did Mr. Hicks have documents on Francisca in his possession? Francisca came to this airport as an Interpol liaison. I think these two are linked. Was he an Interpol agent as well? Let's see. Now, why would Mr. Hicks have documents profiling Francisca? Oh, I know. I bet he's a big fan of Miss Von Karma, sir. Francisca said that she had come to this airport as part of an Interpol investigation. Oh, maybe Mr. Hicks had heard she was coming here, and he followed her. Detective, I think it's more likely Mr. Hicks was in actuality Interpol Agent Hicks. Yup, I called it. I think Francisca has some explaining to do. Glass shards. Where are these glass shards from? The victim's glasses are broken. Were they broken during this murder? These two are connected. I think we can safely conclude that these fragments are from a pair of glasses. And the victim was wearing a pair of broken glasses. Exactly what I was thinking. I'm sure that the shards would match up perfectly with the remnants of his glasses lenses. Ergo, the victim was here just as I suspected. So you're saying that the real scene of the crime was here, sir? Isn't that what I've been saying for a while now? Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Perhaps it's a bit early to draw that conclusion. However, I believe that the probability has just skyrocketed considerably. All that's left is to find the murder weapon. Truth behind Hicks. You came to this airport to rendezvous with the victim, didn't you? Nonsense! What are you talking about? We found a profile detailing information about you in the victim's luggage. I suppose it was prepared for him so that he could, recognize you when he landed. Which makes him not Mr. Hicks, but rather Interpol Agent Hicks. Isn't that correct? I should have known you'd figure it out, Miles. But it looks like they got to him first. So you really did come here to receive an Interpol agent, then? Yes. Agent Hicks was on the trail of a very large international smuggling ring. Agent Hicks is on the trail of an international smuggling ring. And so, yeah, Borginia, the country that Agent Hicks is from, Borginia, smuggling stuff out of Borginia is a punishment by death. That's also one thing to keep in mind. I learned that from the Apollo Justice games. He went undercover to investigate this crime, and it was I who put him on this case. I was supposed to receive a call from him on his cell phone once he had landed. I never expected to receive a call about his murder instead. I think we now have pretty definitive evidence that Agent Hicks came down here to the cargo hold. But what was he doing down here, sir? There's nothing but luggage. Oh, I get it. He was looking for some contraband, smuggled contraband. Maybe he forgot something in his suitcase and came down to get it. Oh, my God. Yeah, Gumshoe is, Gumshoe's a good guy, but he's a bit of an idiot. Oh! Agent Hicks came here for a work-related reason, of that I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure he was here to investigate the smuggling operation he was observing. Francisca, do you know exactly how he intended to pursue his investigation? No. Unfortunately, I was going to find out from him after he landed. I see. But this raises another question. A normal passenger can't access the cargo hold on their own. Yeah, that's right. He needs a key card. Agent Hicks must have identified himself to a member of the crew and entered the cargo hold with that person who let him in. Yes, and then he was murdered here. These glass fragments and his broken glasses are a testament to that. And then the killer put Agent Hicks into one of the spare suitcases and they entered the elevator. But while they were riding it up, the plane hit that patch of turbulence. Because of the intense shaking, the suitcase popped open and Agent Hicks' body flew out. At the same time, his wallet fell out of his pocket, spilling its contents everywhere. Which explains why there was money scattered all over the elevator floor. I think it's pretty easy to say who the culprit is at this stage. What? Really, sir? Oh no, is she gonna say Miss De Niro? I know what you're thinking, Miles Edgeworth. But the killer can be none other than Miss Rhoda De Niro. No. No, absolutely not. Definitive evidence. If it was a crew member, any one of them could have shown Agent Hicks to the cargo hold. But the point to keep in mind is that the key card that allows the elevator to come down here. The only person with such high-level access is Miss Rhoda De Niro. I'd say that's a pretty decisive piece of information, wouldn't you? I know what she's trying to say, but I'm not certain it's as simple as that. Rebuttal. If it was a crew member, any one of them could have shown Agent Hicks to the cargo hold.
Hold it!
That might be true, but then it could be anyone, including Miss Meal. Oh, and you guys told me in the comments I'm supposed to pronounce Miss Meal Miley? Miley, or... Miss Meal, or even the captain. Don't be a fool. A plane without a pilot in the cockpit is like a horse without a rider, crop in hand, much like Scruffy over there. But there's co-pilots. There's co-pilots as well, and then there's captains have to take break, and then there's autopilot. The plane could have been on autopilot. That could have happened. Hey! I can't disagree with her on that. Detective Gumshoe does always need a guiding hand. Very well then. What about on the other flight attendant, Miss Meal? Ah, I thought you might ask about her. But the point to keep in mind is the key card that allows the elevator to come down here.
Hold it!
Well, it's highly likely that the key card was stolen from Miss De Niro.
Objection!
It's highly likely. Is that possibility the best you can come up with? And you call yourself a disciple of my father. Yes, well, while I don't have any evidence, Be quiet. You're a disgrace. There's more evidence pointing to Miss Rhoda De Niro, you know. It's not just the key card that gives her away. Are you talking about the murder weapon, the Captain Ugo piggy bank? Yes, she's also the only person with the key to open that display case. The key to this murder is the phone. The phone is the key to the murder. The killer wanted to take this phone from the victim. Missing cell phone. And we can see that Hicks does not have the cell phone on his body. He has it in his previous picture. Yeah, so, if we find a cell phone, we'll find the killer. The killer most likely has a cell phone on him. Further, there is the matter of the key to the display case that has held the murderous bank.
Hold it!
But that is a fake. Stop right there, Miles Edgeworth. You don't have any proof that this is just a red herring. If you must keep on insisting that it's a fake, then what is the real murder weapon, and where did it go? Speechless, I see. That's not a surprise. After all, you know that we've searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. There must be a way. There must be something that can help me rule out the piggy bank as the murder weapon. What should be examined further to help us ascertain the authenticity of the weapon? What should be examined to help us ascertain the authenticity of the weapon? The body. Francisca, I think you were too quick to jump to your conclusions. Oh, was I? Yes. We don't even have the autopsy results yet. How can I not say that you made a snap judgment when you have yet to even see if the wound on Agent Hicks' head is consistent with the murder weapon? It's true. Scruffy. Yes, sir. Contact the medical examiner's office at once. I wish to hear the result of Agent Hicks' autopsy. Yes, sir. We've got a big problem, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. What? Don't tell me the body's gone. What is it, detective? They're still doing the autopsy, but they said that they already know this one thing for sure. Report now. The doc said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. What? One giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. It has to be a really large weapon to kill somebody with that. From the victim's shoulder to his mid-back, he was beaten over such a wide area. Well, I'd say maybe it's a sign the killer had a grudge against Agent Hicks. It wasn't just his head, the killer went all out and hit him multiple times, sir. Multiple times. Instantaneous death resulting from blow to back of head, bruising, head to mid-back. Scruffy, what is that had a grudge against Agent, Hicks supposed to mean? Well, that's, Was the wound on the victim's head consistent with the murder weapon, detective? Oh, well, they said they were still looking into that, sir. You're completely useless. Yo! Sir, I told you already, you can't go down there. No, you remove yourself from my way. What is all that racket? My luggage! My cargo hold! They're mine, and I demand you return them to me. We're still investigating the cargo hold. Please understand and have a little patience. I suppose there is no choice. Finally, I think he gave. Hey, what are you? You have left me no choice but to use strong force. Arrgh! You won't get past me. Wait. That's it. So that's what this whole thing has been about. Further, there's the matter of the key to the display case that held the murderous bank. Is there some way for me to prove that this isn't the real murder weapon? After all, you know that we've searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. Nobody could find anything that could be considered the real weapon in the hold. The doc said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. Extensive bruising from back of head down to mid-back as is severely beaten. Nobody could find anything that could be considered the real weapon in the hold. This is a little tricky. The killer had to have taken the weapon. Allegedly, the killer struck the victim many times over. And the thing is, I think that statue would have probably broken if he was using it. Like, that many times hitting him. Like, because he hit him so many times with it. It would have broken. Which is why there is extensive bruising over such a wide area. But is that really the correct conclusion to draw from the evidence? The bruise from his shoulder to the middle of his back is one continuous mark. Which is more suggestive of a single blow to the back. Yeah. Could it have been the suitcase? The big yellow suitcase? Could that have been the murder weapon? If that's the case, then the piggy bank is much too small to have caused that. Therefore, the murder weapon must be something far bigger. The unusually large area of bruising suggests that a very large weapon was used. Could it have been Could it be the suitcase? Nobody could find anything that could be considered the real weapon in the hole. The unusually large area of bruising suggests that a very large weapon was used. I think it's the suitcase. He beat him with the suitcase. If we're looking for a rather large weapon, you'd think it would stick out. But so far, we haven't found anything that resembles a weapon of any sort. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's something we all overlooked from the very beginning, the suitcase. Because normally, it's too impossibly big to be taken into consideration. What was that all about? Was he trying to jump his way down here? Francisca. What? What do you want? I found it, Francisca. I found the real murder weapon. You did. He really jumped. We didn't realize it until now, but the answer has been right in front of us this whole time. He might be hurt. We should go check up on him, sirs. There's that pompous attitude of yours again. You should learn to drop that habit. This coming from a prosecutor habit of whipping everyone she comes across. Anyway, if you really are a prosecutor, then you'll back yourself up with evidence. You two aren't listening at all, are you? Come on, then. Show me the real murder weapon you speak of. Show evidence. This is the real murder weapon. The suitcase. It can only be the suitcase. This is the real murder weapon.
Take that!
The real weapon is this suitcase. When you say it with such confidence, I suppose you must have some evidence. Of course, Agent Hicks was placed into this suitcase alive. And it was while he was in here that he was beaten in the head. I wonder if you would die if I whipped you from head to toe right now. What are you thinking, woman? Of course I would. You need to think about the circumstances of the victim's death in a different way. There's a wide bruise running from the victim's shoulder down to his mid-back. Maybe I should be focusing on what could cause such a large bruise in one strike. Come on then, show me the real murder weapon you speak of. If it's not the suitcase... This is the autopsy. Time of death, March 12th between 3 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. Mr. Ackby Hicks was there in his seat when we took off again at 5 a.m.? Wait, Miss Neal's testimony. But he was dead between 3... He was killed between 3 and 4:30 a.m. That makes no sense. There's a 30-minute, Miss Neal is lying. This flight will be making a brief stop to refuel and transfer cargo in the Republic of Zengfa between 4 and 5 a.m. We ask that all passengers remain on board at that time. Thank you for your cooperation. Wait. When they refueled in Zengfa, is it possible that the killer could have moved the weapon off of the plane? Is that possible? Is that possible?
Take that!
I've concluded that this is the real weapon, I suppose. What is that supposed to mean, you fool? No. No. That was practically just now for when I was, Okay, yeah, this is wrong. Why don't we add practice whippings as well? Huh. Okay. What could cause such a large bruise? Let me see, don't have evidence to show. Let's see. I don't have any evidence to show you. Foolish reasoning for a foolish fool from a foolish fool meant to fool me. Did the killer take the weapon off of the plane when the plane was refueling in Zengfa? What do you mean by I don't have any evidence to show? Perhaps I should have phrased it as that which caused Agent Hicks' death is incorporeal. Forgive me, but I do believe I figured out the real cause of death. The victim suffered from a lack of oxygen in the elevator, and no, I didn't mean to press X, I pressed it too fast. And the bruising on his back and his broken neck was caused by a sudden fall to the ground. You are like a fly, blood buzzing in my ear. Be gone. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Oh, that wasn't such a bad guess, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sorry that I hit that. I accidentally pressed that. I was pressing X too quickly, and I chose the wrong one. I didn't even get the chance to read it. But, what if when he was in the elevator, when the turbulence was going off, he hit himself? That's also a possibility. Without a shred of proof, he just accused me of making a good guess. Okay. Forgive me, but I do believe I figured out what was the real cause of death. The autopsy report, he fell. The victim fell from a great height and subsequently died as a result. In other words, the real cause of death is free falling to the ground. He fell to his death? Yes, it's the only plausible possibility. The victim has extensive bruising on the back of his head and his back. And the only rational explanation for these injuries is that he fell to his death. And that makes sense. Because I was thinking that it was possibly the suitcase that was something so big that it hit him on the back. But when you really think about it, if he fell, and he landed, that would do damage to his entire body. So he must have fallen, but how exactly? Did he fall down the elevator? How? Oh! He fell off the staircase! The staircase, that's why Edgeworth was... when LeBlanc fell off the staircase, that's why, what basically snapped in Edgeworth's mind. He was pushed! He fell off the staircase, that's what happened. Okay, so it wasn't the elevator, he fell off the staircase. But the murder happened inside this plane. I know. Are you claiming that there is some place in this plane from which he could have fallen from? As I said earlier, this answer has been right in front of us the entire time. You can't mean the broken glasses. The broken glasses in the cargo hold right there. That's it. I figured it out. He was pushed to the top of the staircase. That's what happened. Yes, I do. The victim fell from the top of the stairs to this very cargo hold. Yep. What? Then, we're in trouble. We may have a second death on our hands, sir. Hey, you, tell me you aren't dead, pal. Quiet, why are you screaming? He's alive! And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. It's not possible that Agent Hicks fell over the railing to his death. That means that man is living proof of that. I suppose it's true that it's not possible, given the current circumstances. I got it! I got it! I figured it out! I figured it out! You know that big piece of cargo that LeBlanc just fell on? You know, that cargo was not there beforehand. It wasn't. There was no cargo there. How do I know? If we look at the evidence right here, wait. Refueling in Zangfa. The flight will be making a brief stop to refuel and transfer cargo in the Republic of Zangfa between 4 and 5 a.m. We ask that all passengers remain on board at that time. Thank you for your cooperation. If we look at the autopsy, time of death, March 12th between 3 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. And at between, okay, yeah, right there. Between 3 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. And the plane's cargo was refueling, and the plane was refueling and cargo was being moved between 4 and 5 a.m. So we have basically just narrowed down the window. Okay, we narrowed it down now. Between 4 and 5 a.m. So he had to have been killed between 3 and 4 a.m. That's when he had to have been killed. So we now have a 1-hour window. That cargo was put there beforehand. So that's what happened, is the cargo was on top of the area that he fell in. When the plane was refueling and resupplying in Zangfa, that's basically what happened. That cargo was brought in. The current circumstances. What is that supposed to mean? Suppose a large piece of cargo wasn't there at the time. What would have happened then? He would have been a Borginian pancake for sure, sir. I suppose that man over there wouldn't still be breathing. But the reality is that the cargo box is there. So there's no point entertaining your wild hypothetical scenarios. It may be there now, but there's no proof that it was always there. Ha, as if there could have been a window of time when that giant box was not there. Ah, but there was. What? What can I use to show her that it's possible the box is not always where it is now? Refueling in Zangfa. Made a brief stop from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. Transfer cargo and refuel at transfer point. And Miss Meals' testimony that Mr. Hicks was in his seat at 5 a.m. that's not matching up.
Take that!
You refueled in the Republic of Zangfa. Yes, this flight had a short layover in Zangfa in order to refuel. But that wasn't the only reason for the layover. We also transferred some cargo. What if the box in question was only transferred onto the plane at the time? To further prove my point, let's take a look at what's next to the box in question. It's labeled Zangfa Express. Correct, meaning it was loaded onto the plane in Zangfa. Cargo from Zangfa. It was loaded on board during the refueling between 4 and 5 a.m. at the transfer point. Now, what if the box in question was also loaded on at the same time? It would mean that the box was not here in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zangfa leg of the flight, making a clear drop from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death entirely possible. But your theory is still very far-fetched. Then allow me a chance to prove how very likely my scenario is. My first order of business will be to examine that piece of cargo in more detail. Begin investigation. So yeah, we're on the right track. I made kind of a little mistake there thinking that it was the suitcase. I was thinking that because a really big guy could pick up the suitcase and just smash it over the guy's back. But then, you know, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about the free fall for a moment. And then I realized why Edgeworth started thinking that. When he saw him fall over the rail, he realized that it was that. That's basically what it was. The murder scene was right in front of us the whole time. And it was geniusly covered up. The killer knew all this stuff was going to happen. He used it to his advantage. The proof is the glass is right here. He fell and the glass just smashed themselves and the glass flew across the cargo hold room. Okay. Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew. This sure brings back memories of when I worked as a part-time mover, sir. By the look in his eyes, he's waiting for me to ask about the rest of the story. But no matter how he forced on the puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. This is a rather large piece of cargo. There's a tag on it, sir. Let's see. Olive red statue. Never heard of it. Nor I, but all I care about is that we can prove it wasn't here at the time of the crime. So let's get investigating, sir. Oh, LeBlanc. Look here! Do not go about touching my possessions without my permission! Ugh! Don't rush up on me like that, pal! So this belongs to Mr. LeBlanc, does it? I should see what else I can find out about from him. LeBlanc's cargo. I take it this large piece of cargo belongs to you, Mr. LeBlanc. Of course it is mine! I shipped this fine piece of art from Europe! This olive red statue is worth 10 million cents. No, maybe much, much more. Mr. LeBlanc's reason for choosing this plane must have been the large cargo hold. 10 million cents? I suggest you stop trying to calculate how many packets of noodles that makes, Detective. Darn, how did you do that? I feel like you keep getting better and better at seeing right through me every year. Though I grow, with each, revolution of the planet around the sun. I have the distinct impression he continues to madly spin in place. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, so that 10 million cents, is that in euros or in dollars? Oh, man. Does it really make a difference to our case? Mr. LeBlanc, there's a chance that your cargo is related to our murder, case. I was wondering if you would allow us to examine it a bit closer. It is a very valuable piece of art, so no, there will be no touching. Mr. LeBlanc claims to have brought a piece of art from Europe, but... Agent Hicks is on the trail of an international smuggling ring. Yeah, this is exactly what it is. Mr. LeBlanc is a smuggler. Mr. LeBlanc claims to have brought a piece of art from Europe, but... And the punishment for smuggling a lot of stuff from Virginia is death. If Mr. LeBlanc has something to do with the smuggling ring, then it's possible this fake statue was brought, on board in Zengfa. I think I need to question him a bit further. Fake statue. About your statue, Mr. LeBlanc. I wonder if it might be a fake. What? How dare you say my art is fake? I suppose your statue might be the target of an international smuggling ring. So he could have actually been robbed. That's possible. He could have, they could have stolen from him. So maybe he's not the smuggler, but they stole the statue from him. Don't say such fantastical things. Those thieves would not dare. I have the certification of my cargo right here. You mean the cargo certification document? Mr. Zinc LeBlanc, why didn't you say so earlier? Please show it to us at once. I can't read this. What does it say? It says as plain as Zay. The cargo was put onto the plane in Europe. And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. Too bad for you. The statue was brought on board in Europe, just as it states in the certificate. No, that's... Which means that there never was a window of time in which the statue wasn't sitting there. Document written or Virginian. Prove the statue was loaded on board in Europe, but we don't know. He could be lying to us, what it actually says. I respectfully disagree. We can't discount the theory until I see the statue for myself. Then you can have your wish. Look at it yourself and see I am right. This. I've known I've seen it somewhere before. Yes, I know where I've seen this. Right here. Yeah, it's the same place where Agent Hicks took the picture. Yeah, this. Found in the victim's pocket a souvenir picture. This is the olive red. It gives off such feelings of art. I can practically smell it. This statue has a high amount of historical value. After it's unveiled at a museum in Europe. I brought it to this country to exhibit it. Piece of art being shipped by Mr. LeBlanc, who claims that it's worth 10 million cents. I believe a closer look is warranted here. So this is the infamous olive red statue. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Did you find something? There's something wrong with this picture. We should examine it in more detail. It's not the same one. The eyes! The eyes, look. It's a fake. The eyes are red in this one, and in this one, the eyes. Are these eyes made of some sort of gem?
That's a real nice shade of orange. For a sec, I couldn't even tell they were jewels. Oh, they kind of remind me of the eyes of this stray cat that lives near my house.
Are the eyes supposed to be this color? Is it possible this statue is a fake? Is this a spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Yes. Right here. Photo of Mr. Hicks. Right here.
Eureka!
These eyes are awfully orange, don't you think?
Yeah, and pretty. They remind me of sunsets when I was in grade school, sir.
I don't think you see what I'm talking about.
No, I do, but it's really like the color of the sun when it's setting, sir. All the memories. I remember standing out in the field, spinning with my arms out until I felt ill.
I don't care about sunsets. Focus, detective. What color are the eyes in this photo?
Huh? Ah! Sir, they're red.
As I thought, this statue is a fake. Mr. LeBlanc. That do you want? Do you not know I'm busy man? I allow you 2 seconds for your answer. The olive red, I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not? Is the biggest trophy on this European trip. Do you know why I wanted to purchase this statue? The trigger started 17 years ago.
Better grab a chair, sir. Sounds like this is gonna be a long story.
Mr. LeBlanc, I regret to inform you, and you have my heartfelt sympathy, but... That is it! Sympathy for that! You'll see, I'd like you to compare the eyes. That large fellow there has very bright and pretty eyes compared to you. I wasn't talking about the two of us. I meant the eyes of the statue in front of us and the one in this photo. Why is sudden yelling? Now then. Oh! It is a photo of the statue on display at the museum in Europe. Now do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? The statue before us is a fake. Ah! A fake! I believe that even further examination will be required. Now that we have confirmed that this is indeed a fake, there must be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Zangfa. And I will present to you evidence that will resolve the remaining contradiction. Oh, right here. This. It was put on top of this. What's this?
The statue looks like it's stepping all over its neighbor's cloth, sir. Cover. It kind of resembles its owner's attitude in a sense. Ho ho!
You! That did you say now? Further, my clothing's hem is not being stepped on by anyone. It is too expensive for me to allow that to happen. Please forgive the trespass of my subordinate. Why should I forgive? If the dress passes, unless it is an expensive dress, you keep it. Yep. Okay. It was loaded on board during the refueling between 4 and 5 a.m. at the transfer point.
Eureka!
There is clearly a contradiction here. What are you going on about? It's just a simple case of a cargo cover getting stuck under another piece of cargo. Ah, that's not possible. But it is. I shouldn't be, this way. It shouldn't be this way, but the statue is on top of the cloth. Supposing that the neighboring piece of cargo was brought on board in Zangfa, there's no way that any part of it should wind up under something from Europe. Which means this fake statue was smuggled on board in Zangfa. But then what about the cargo certificate? Let me ask in return, what about Agent Hicks? Why did he come down here in the middle of the flight? There is only one reason why, to secure proof of smuggling activity aboard this flight. So you say, but I don't believe he had to do that mid-flight. We could have just as easily inspected all of the cargo after the plane landed. That may be true, however, you have it backwards, Francisca. Sure, Agent Hicks could have waited until after the plane had landed. but he had a reason for coming down to the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake at the airport. It would have been after the swap had occurred. At that time, the suspicion would naturally fall onto the statue's owner, who would have no way to prove that the statue was switched without his knowledge. Which means there is someone involved who is forging or modifying cargo certificates. Document Borginian says statue was loaded on board in Europe, but the statue is a fake.
I guess the victim knew the real version of this was gonna get nabbed, huh?
Yes, while this photo could be seen as nothing more than a simple souvenir, it was in fact taken to be used as a reference document later on. Next, Agent Hicks had to secure proof that the smuggling had taken place. He came down here to take a picture of the cargo hold. A rather empty one at that, right before the fake statue could be loaded on board, and he used his phone. He used his phone to take the picture. That's why the killer took the phone. A photo of the hold missing a valuable piece of cargo would have been proof enough. After that, all he had to do was hold the Zhengfa cargo crew and arrest the smuggler. Exactly. This only goes to prove my theory. If the statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zhengfa leg of the trip, there would have been enough height from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death. Officer! Move this statue immediately. I want a thorough examination of the floor underneath. Now! Miss Von Karma, I'm ready to report my findings. Go on. After moving the olive red statue out of the way, we tested the area under it with luminol, and there was a reaction. So, luminol is a real chemical, and, luminol is that chemical that you see, like, in cop shows a lot of times, where it lights up the blood is blue. Basically, it will, even if you completely wipe away blood, traces of it can still be, seen. Only, like, really bleach can truly, like, get rid of blood. So that's what luminol is doing here. Right there, see? What I said, blue. I see there was a reaction to luminol, an indication that there was blood in that spot.
Can we stop looking at it now, sirs?
It would seem that my deductions were correct after all. I suppose it would appear that way. The culprit cleaned the blood up as well. And how do you think the killer did that? How did the killer clean up all the blood? The rag. World famous this, the Borginian cloth, this.
Take that!
The killer used the bloody cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess. I see. They had a need to clean up all the blood before the plane landed in Zhengfa. Yes, because otherwise the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover.
So you guys are saying that the murder happened before the plane landed in Zhengfa?
There's no other conceivable timeline for the events of the murder. Well, if that is true, that throws off a certain person's testimony about Miss Meals. If the murder occurred before we landed in Zhengfa, then this becomes a highly suspect. Miss Meals' testimony. I saw this earlier. Look at what Miss Meals' testimony says right here. Mr. Acby Hicks was there in his seat when we took off again at 5 a.m. No, she's lying. Miss Meals' testimony. Recall Miss Meals' testimony about Agent Hicks in regard to when we departed Zhengfa. I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 a.m., you know. She claims Agent Hicks was alive at the time of the service calls, but...
That totally contradicts the facts, sir.
But why would she lie about something like that? I think the only person who can answer this is Miss Meal herself. Bring her here. Oh, wow, so it's over right here. Okay, so, I guess we're getting closer to the end of this here. But, yeah, I guess we're getting closer to the end of this, this case. This case has a lot of parts to it. But I guess we'll wrap it up here, guys. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys, enjoyed this part. If you did, you drop a like. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.